Hello, all you people out there in internet land. My name is Britt Kolick. I use they, she pronouns. I'm a professional stage manager. It's story time, and this is the time I went on stage with 2 hours notice. Notice I didn't say I'm an actor in my intro. So, a little bit of backstory. I am doing summer stock theater in August of 2023. It is closing night. It is Sunday night. Monday, we're all waking up and tearing down the set and going our separate ways. Saturday night had been a fantastic show. The weather was perfect. It was outdoor Shakespeare. It was Much Ado About Nothing. My Beatrice and Benedict got fur reels engaged at the end of that show. It was beautiful. My parents loved it. Cut, print. That's where the credits would roll if this was a movie. This is not a movie. This is real life. Sunday happens. It might rain. We're all sort of sitting around, checking the radar, looking out the window, seeing if we have to move from our outdoor location to our rain location, which was at the local college's performing arts building. We'd already done one rain show there, so everything was set up and ready to go. We just needed to move costumes, some props, and a couple set pieces. I'm living with two of my friends, Peyton, who was a shop intern, and my buddy Kendall, who was Margaret in the show, as well as a costume shop intern. I was an assistant technical director on that show, so I just built the set. I was going to rehearsals for fun and to just be in that atmosphere and be in that environment. I love being in a rehearsal space, so I'm sitting at the island. I am eating dinner. It's like 4:20. At 5 o'clock, I know I have to be at the castle to help move everything. Peyton's in her room. Kendall's out getting coffee. My artistic director calls me. I pick up. I said, "Hey, what's up? Everything okay?" He goes, "Hey, Britt, can you come be Baraccio tonight?" And I said yes. And it made me think I just saw David, who plays Baraccio, in the hallway. He was fine 5 minutes ago. I didn't know what happened. And unbeknownst to me, his wife and one of his sons, who are both in the show as well, are yelling at him, "Conrad, Conrad, Conrad." He goes, "No, I'm sorry. Can you be Conrad tonight?" And I am relieved because Conrad has 20 lines and just gets to be awesome and funny. And I said, "Absolutely. Is everything okay with Keith?" who was the actor playing Conrad. He had had a family emergency and had to go be there and take care of that business, which I love and appreciate and respect. And I said, "Great, hope everything's okay. I will be there." He goes, "Can you be at the theater at 5 to do blocking and your lines?" I said, "Yes, no, I have to move everything from the castle." And he goes, "I will figure that out. Just be there at 5. I said, "Absolutely." Click. Peyton comes out of her room. I said, "I'm going on tonight. I'm calling Kendall because I don't have a script." And I know she does. I said, "Hey, where's your script? I'm going on tonight." And we sort of had a laugh about it. And I said, "No, I'm serious." She goes, "I'm pulling in now. I will be up in a second." She comes up, gives me her script, highlights all of Conrad's lines, and I'm starting the memorization process. I have her binder. I think I took all the pages out actually, and I'm just swiping through them, trying to remember, because the night before I'm leaning up against a tree, all cool, mouthing along to every single word, but the moment I need to go on stage, everything's out of my head. It's 4:45. They go, "You gotta, probably get going." I said, "Absolutely, I'll see you guys over there." And I drive over to the Performing Arts Center. I did call my buddy Stacy because I was freaking out, and I said, "Hey, I'm going on tonight." And she goes, "Hey, Britt, just have fun with it. It is the last show of summer stock theater. They'll make an announcement at the top that you're going on for Conrad." She goes, "Just go have fun with it. The stakes could not be lower. There's nothing on the line. Just go have fun." So I get into the theater. David is great because David took on a couple more of Conrad's lines, so I didn't have to remember as many. My costume designer comes in while I'm learning blocking. She's like, arms up, like throwing the tape measure around my waist, around my chest, putting on shoes. We're doubling up socks to try to get these shoes to fit. Funnily enough, because Don John, Baraccio, and Conrad were sailors in this version, the sailor pants fit me, which was hilarious. They fit me perfectly. We just needed to hem the pants. I was wearing just a white undershirt that they had, and I was wearing the actual sailor shirt that they had. So I'm swimming in it because Keith is about 3 inches taller than me and is sort of all like chest and arms. So I'm swimming in the sailor uniform, but it's gonna work for what we need to do. And I think it was 20 minutes, half an hour with my artistic director, who's also Dogberry, with David as Baraccio, and then our Don John. Those are really the main characters I interacted with. So we do everything, we adjust. Instead of Conrad lifting up Baraccio in one scene, we're both gonna fall over because David and I were roughly the same size and I am strong, but I'm not that strong. So I go into a dressing room. Everyone at this point is starting to arrive. I think we were geoing at 7, so it's like 5:30, 6 o'clock. People have come over. We're getting ready. I had to have a huge forearm tattoo. Evie put something here applied to my arm, and I am somewhere between the shop clothes that I was wearing to having to do the moving and this costume that I need to be in, and my pants are somewhere getting hemmed, and I'm again just looking at this script, and everyone in the dressing room, who most of them I had known for a very long time, and they had known me since I was in college, were very sweet. They were asking me, they go, are you excited? And I was trying to play it real cool. I'm like, no, I'm just, it's just another day at the office. And they go, Britt, it's okay for you to be excited. Like, this is exciting. And I was like, okay. I said, I'm very excited. And they go, you should be. This is exciting. It's the last night of the run, so of course everyone's taking pictures, and I was so excited to have that actor moment of like, I get to take like mirror selfies of me in my costume, and I was having a great time. I'm still learning these lines, and the coolest thing was we enter in the house. The soldiers and the sailors entered into the house. Everyone else started on stage. So I'm at the time, I want to mention this, I'm getting so many texts. Kendall was very sweet. She had texted some of our friends from Pittsburgh, and they're texting me to be like, hey, break a leg, like, this is so awesome, can't wait to hear all about it. I had a friend who was coming to tonight's show. Ironically enough, the other time she'd seen the show was a rain show, so we had to go into the Performing Arts Center, and I tell her, I'm like, there's gonna be a big surprise tonight. She was bigger than engagement. I'm like, yeah, pretty big. So we're walking in, and it's sort of there that it hits me. I'm working with all of these professional actors and a couple of guys that I was in college with, and they're all filling out their uniforms in a very good and stoic way, and I sort of look like I'm swimming in mine through no fault of my own, and it hits me, and I'm like, okay, like, walk like a man, like, we got this. My TD gets up on stage, announces all of the pre-show stuff, and then right before, he was like, oh, before I forget, tonight the role of Conrad will be played by Britt Kolick, and I can hear my buddies who are in the audience just hooting and hollering, like, so excited. And I go on. I remember trying not to screw up or step on Don John's lines, because that was the big thing. I also remember there's a masquerade scene in Much Ado About Nothing, and we were all dressed in like 1930s and 40s characters. So someone, I think, was like Babe Ruth or Mickey Mantle, someone was Betty Boop, we had like the Chiquita Banana or Cheetah Rivera, somebody with a big headdress, and I was Donald Duck. Conrad was Donald Duck, so I had feather pants and a duck mask, and my buddy Rob, who was Hero's love interest, kept looking, said afterwards, he goes, I couldn't look at you. I said, why not? And he goes, because you looked so funny that I was gonna break character. And I thought, I just stood on stage for like 2 minutes and then left while everything else happened. I still had my normal duties to do as well. My big responsibility was to take a piece of Luan and remove it during the Baraccio and Margaret like making out with the shadow play scene where they think that it's Hero. When we were inside, I had to hold a Fresnel, make sure Fresnel was plugged in and turned on and on them so that it would cause the same shadow effect, and then radio to Peyton, who would have to open the curtain, so I'm still doing all of that. The Dogberry scene was the best because I had become so used to the shenanigans at that point. It was no longer funny to me in the audience. Being in the moment was something completely different. So I am on stage, I'm trying to keep it together, like, I am a gentleman, sir, and my name is Conrad. And I think I'm like, it's my time with the audience, and Dogberry is one of my old professors, and he was a great professor, don't get me wrong, he was a great professor, a lovely guy. And I had some friends in the audience who also had him, and there's a great line that Conrad has. He says, you, sir, are an ass. And Dogberry's like, what? And it's like, you are an ass. And I remember I jumped up on the fake fountain that we had, and I said it with full chest. For everybody who had ever been like sort of frustrated with him as a professor, I just whole chest called him an ass. And he comes up behind me, and I was so smug, and then I just started laughing, and I'm trying to keep it together because I'm facing the audience, and all he told me later it was my shoulders were going up and down, and he gets right up in my face. He was like, "This is of no laughing matter." And of course I start losing it, and the audience starts losing it, and it was so much fun. And afterwards we were all hanging out as we tend to do, especially after the closing show, and I remember somebody came up to me and said, "I need you to know that whenever we weren't on stage, we were all in the wings watching you." And I realized that's such, I've seen it online, on TikTok, on other videos. I'm like, that is such a theater thing, is when an understudy or a swing or somebody new is on stage, people go to the wings and they watch them. And I hadn't really realized it at the time, but they came to watch me, and everyone was telling me. I remember Rob told me, he goes, "You gave 100% tonight." He goes, "You did what every actor wishes they could do." He goes, "Because you just had to go out there and sort of be. You didn't have to, like, you weren't thinking about it, you weren't caught up in any choices." And I'll never forget, Kendall told me this, and I think about this a lot. People kept thanking me. They were like, "You did such a great job, you did such a great job." And I'm like, "Yeah, just don't worry, like, anyone would have done it." And Kendall, we were in an elevator going up to our apartment, and she said, "You were the first person to tell everyone that they did a good job. You're the first person to tell people, to compliment people. Just take the compliment." She goes, "You have earned it, you deserve it, you were great tonight. Just say thank you." And I think about that sometimes when I'm trying to invalidate myself, or I'm just saying it's no big deal. Because I said that to somebody, said anybody would have done it, and they go, "No, they wouldn't have." What you did is a very selfless thing. You said yes to something that you had very little notice of, and it's not completely outside of my comfort zone, but it's not what I do. I don't act. That's not where my skill set lies, and I went on stage and I did it anyway. And I love that story because it was some of the most fun I've ever had in a theater. It was with all of these people that I have loved and I've worked with forever, and who have seen me in various forms and evolutions of my life and my career. But it reminds me, it's like, never be afraid to say yes, and to just take the risk and to go for it, and do what you can to help the show go on. Because that's what somebody told me. They go, the show needed to go on, and not everyone has that wherewithal to just be like, "Yeah, I'll go on," and the show will happen. So yeah, that's the end of story time. I'll see you in the next one. Until then, drink water, give grace, and once again, I am a gentleman, sir, and my name is Conrad.